What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are here in Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful scenery because guess what? It's that day that we get to drive this truck. What is it? This is it. This is the all new but also first time ever 2023 GMC Canyon. This one though is the new trim, the AT4X. But before we get into this ultimate off-roader straight from the OEM, let's talk about what's going on here. It's been a hot minute since the Canyon received a redesign, coming out around 2015 and really kind of being that vehicle, that mid-sized truck to go up against the big competition. You got the Toyota Tacoma, the Nissan Frontier, of course, the sister brand with the Chevrolet Colorado, and we also can't forget how when you look at Jeep with that Gladiator, and I know many people don't consider it a truck, but we're gonna throw it in there anyways, the Honda Ridgeline. Now, for 2023, GMC wanted to bring a lot of that magic that we already brought to you with the Chevrolet Colorado, but GMC, being General Motors truck company, needs to do things their own unique way. So what I wanna find out is, if you're looking for the best new truck to buy, is the AT4X the way to go? Let's go ahead, let's find out what's new, what's unique, and how special it might be. Let's go ahead and dive in and find out. Right off the bat, this color. Now this is an Edition 1, which is gonna come exactly like you see it the first year, but of course the other Canyons, when you go AT4X, will have a lot of similarities. Now at the front of the business, I love what they've done with the headlight housing. So you're gonna have your lower headlight housing in this kind of interesting shape with the LED daytime running lamp, LED projector beam headlight. You got your GMC logo in there. And then you'll notice up top, this is where the daytime running lamp starts. So very cool to have this unique setup. And it also kind of touches on the bigger brother of this vehicle, which is, of course, is the full-size Sierra. Now, one of the things that I like is that they left the Canyon to have a different style. It's not like they took the Sierra and just kind of made a mini-me version of it. What they did was they wanted to make it unique, and definitely you could see here with the exterior lighting, very unique. Now, as we kind of drop down, you're gonna notice that extra fender flare. We have a wider vehicle at the front than the previous Canyon, but we also have a wider track. What does that mean? The track is the space in between the front wheels and the rear wheels. So from left to right, front and back, that's gonna be your track. So with this AT4X, that's gonna allow you to claw that off-road terrain and be much more stable, which is important. Now, what I do like is you get a lot of that body color just painted everywhere. They did a great job carving this lower corner area out to help with, of course, approach and departure angles. And then as we come across the grille, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to see because of this brush bar that we have, but full stamp steel. You'll notice our new grille, and I like on the AT4X how you have the brushed aluminum. You got, of course, that GMC, General Motors truck logo right there, truck company, and then of course you have your forward-facing camera, required on any kind of off-roading vehicle, truck, car, SUV, full functionality. And then one thing I love about on this Edition 1 is you got the stamped steel brush bar, but then you also have this massive rectangular light bar, full LED. We got our winch, so you could pull out those lesser trucks. You got that guy in the Ridgeline trying to go off-roading, and he gets stuck 2 feet into the trailhead. You could get the winch and yank him out. I even love the way they integrated. Check it out. You have your LED fog lamps down below, nicely housed. Now, if you're looking at the front of this truck and you're saying, well, Joe, damn, this thing looks like it's lifted, you are correct. Now, if you go GMC AT4, Canyon AT4, you're gonna get a 2-inch lift. This has an additional inch lift on top of it. So we got a 3-inch lift. That's gonna give us almost 10 inches of ground clearance. Steven wanted to do it, but I said no. You know, you never know what kind of, insects or poisonous creatures are on the ground. He wanted to roll right underneath this with the camera rig. I said, no, let's save that for another day, but you do have full metal protection underneath the whole length of the vehicle, but definitely from the front, I love what they've done with this Canyon, and I actually like it better than the Colorado. Now, as we rise up, bold hood. You get a nice indentation on the center. Love what they did on the sides. Like I said, they made it look different than the Sierra, and I think that was very important. We don't want all the trucks to look the same. Now, as I go real wide, because remember, we got that wide track, that wide body, as we go around, look at what we're working with, wheel and tire setup. So you're on this AT4X Edition 1, we have these amazing off-road wheels, of course, bead-lock, gloss black in the center, the GMC logo. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 17-inch wheel, of course. If you're serious about off-roading, like this truck is all serious about off-roading, you gotta have the good rubber wrapped around the wheels. Not about the wheels, about the rubbers. The rubber tires, that is. I know where your mind was going. But anyways, 35-inch off-road tire. And of course, we're talking about those Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires. Really gonna allow you to grapple the asphalt or grapple the off-road situations, the rocks, the log pieces, tree limbs, all that kind of stuff very nicely. I'm gonna have Steven kind of zoom in and show you that real beefy front suspension. Remember, one of the things unique about this setup is we're running the Multimatic dual spool valve technology. That's actually technology that first started on Formula One cars and has wound up for street vehicles. My Camaro ZL11LE has the Multimatic dual spool valve technology. So does this, obviously, Canyon AT4X. All four corners, and that's gonna separate the standard AT4 from the AT4X. It's not just about the lift, it's also about the suspension. Now, you're gonna get a nice amount of wheel travel, up and down, and all around. And then another nice touch that they do is I like the way they integrate the side marker light with the GMC logo. As we come down the side, you do have a little bit of gloss black. Not a big deal. We got 360-degree cameras, and guess what? This thing has more cameras on it than the moon landing back in 1969. The lunar landing, when Armstrong got off of that thing, and I'm not talking about Lance Armstrong, that's a different Armstrong. I'm talking about Neil Armstrong. This thing has 10 cameras, including 2 waterproof ones underneath the vehicle. Talk about off-roading. Down below, I like what they did with these massive rock sliders, also known as frame protectors, not only on the low end, but also on the upper end. I love the way they did the AT4X badge. Really, really nice on the badging. And then you'll see from the side of this truck, this is that midsize. So we're talking about this going up against the Tacoma TRD off-road, but I like the dimensions of it. Working our way towards the rear. I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing in this way because look at the way GMC does their body lines. You got this nice body line that evaporates and then comes into the flared fender. Check it out. There's those bright gold Multimatic, that DSSV suspension I was telling you about. That is worth its weight in gold. That's why they actually color them gold, because it's worth their weight in gold. And you'll see when we go off-roading. Now, coming towards the rear, as we swing it around, they did a decent job on the taillights. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit as cool as what we got up front. But of course, we got that GMC badge, the Canyon badge, and then AT4X, full tow hookup capability. And then working our way down, that's where we got all our tow. You got your spare underneath, mounted underneath, so we don't lose any of that trunk bed volume. And then just nice soft release, very, very easily. And then, of course, you're going to have your measurements. So if you and your guy friends are trying to see, who's got the biggest, fish that they caught, they can measure it back here. Also, you have the ability to get some storage. So think about the Twinkies. You could put them in here, and they're all nice and waterproof, airtight to keep your Twinkies fresh. And then I'm going to switch places with Steven and have him come in on the passenger side to show you how we have our, of course, power source, full bed liner, and then you got this really killer tonneau cover that I'm digging that I really think is a nice addition to the first edition. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this AT4X Right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod, and I am going to zonk that because they kind of put it right in the way. It's pretty much almost in the middle. Now, underneath the hood, not the sexiest of engine covers, but you know what? What's pretty sexy is the power that this thing is producing. It's got a new 2.7 liter turbocharged inline 4. Now, before you cry about no more V6, no more diesel engine like Steven was when he found this information out, the great news is with this 2.7 liter turbocharged inline 4, we got tons of horsepower and tons of torque. 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.8 seconds with those off-road tires. The truck weighs around 4,800 pounds and it could tow 6,000 pounds. So it's a little less on the towing capacity, but you know what? Like I said, having that power plant that's able to produce that type of torque sounds pretty good to me. Why don't we go ahead though, let's get inside and see what this AT4X is bringing to the table. All right, guys, we're inside this Edition 1 AT4X. I tell you, wait until I show you around the interior in this thing because it's pretty crazy what they're bringing. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, what is this going to cost me at the end of the day? That's a very good question. So starting MSRP is $59,000. This one is a little over $60,000 being the Edition 1. But let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I do like the stylish door panels. So you're going to get a little bit of carbon fiber style material. You got that leatherette material with the stitching. I love the red contrast, especially the way it goes from that off-white into the dark portion of the armrest. Probably not the best for off-roading, but boy, it does look good. You do have the GMC official trademark Twinkie holder. And then down below, you could put a big old bottle of kombucha down there. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, this is where things look totally different than the last generation. Love this anodized look to the red, the AT4X badge, the nice contrast stitching. And like I said, white interior, not my thing per se, but it definitely makes it look extra special in here. Now, as you slide on in, what are you gonna get infotainment system-wise? What you're getting is an 11.3-inch screen, Google Maps, of course, and then you could go into all your different vehicle settings, drive park settings, and just like the Colorado, the one zonk on the screen this is where you actually adjust your lights. Turn them on, turn them off, the fog lights and all that. There's no physical switch. So something to think about. Let's see if when we slide on down how things get. You do have your dual climate control, which is nice. You do have ventilated seats, 3 stages, and 3 stages of heated seats. And then one thing I want to go back to the infotainment system and show is how you have your trailering assistant. That's real easy, especially when you've never trailered before. And of course, you have that ability to go into the cameras. And this is where I was telling you, out the back. This is actually out the front, right through that where the brush bar is. And then of course you could go to all the different angles. Really, really nice setup on that. Even air down mode. So you hit that and this is where you could air down right from the driver's seat. That is severe off-roading technology there. Now working your way down even more, this is where you have your toggle switches, including to lock the front and rear diff or just lock the rear diff. I like the aluminum style look that they have with the red. You got a USB-A, USB-C, and wireless charging. This is going to control the updated, upgraded 8-speed automatic. You do have your ability to go from 4 high to 4 low to 2 high right there, all by the switch, or leave it in automatic mode. Like the white, looking good with the stitching. You got 2 cup holders. Here is your GMC key fob. It would have been nice if they did something special for the Edition 1s, but you do got remote start. Plenty of stitching here. And then guess what? Open it up. We got a nice little tray with some felt lining. This is where you could put your fool's gold. There's a lot of areas here to find fool's gold. You can leave your fool's gold. And there's enough little capacity that first of all, you got a 12 volt, and then you could actually put I would say, 6 cheeseburgers. So when you go out to the middle of nowhere, sometimes there's no restaurants, there's no fast food places. You gotta pack for survival. Like I said, put those cheeseburgers in there. You could even put extra pickle. Tell them Joe Rady from Rady's Ride said it's okay. Seats, love what they did. The stitching, the two-tone, the red, nice bolstering. Of course, you're gonna have power seats for the passenger. I have power seats as well. And you got your standard size sunroof. Would have been nice to have a panoramic sunroof. And for 5 extra horsepower, check it out. Red seatbelts, Steven's favorite. Why don't you come over here at the business end? I want to show you behind the all-new steering wheel in our Canyon AT4X. All right, guys, here we are behind the wheel. You do get 2 memory seat settings, and you do get these really special AT4X all-weather protection for your floor mats. You could see how it's protected the interior from that North Carolina mud. That's the proof. We got our seat controls with that lower lumbar. My chiropractor is going to be very happy. I'm 6 feet tall, and they did a great job with the center console, not making it too kind of squishy in here. So I feel really good. Steering wheel looks great. You got the red stitching all the way around, just like a Babe Ruth baseball. Love the way they do the GMC logo. And here's a little fun tip. That's actually the shape of the grill. So it's cool that they do that. Flat black on all the buttons. You got a heated steering wheel, manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then I'm digging that 11-inch display, clear as day, with the graphics and everything else. Looks super spectacular. And then as we back away, you're gonna get a nice size head-up display as well, which is very important when you're off-roading. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the last piece of this puzzle. Let's get into the back seat because I'm ready to go off-road. All right, guys, inside the back seat time. And this is one of those areas that with a mid-size truck, if you need more room for people, you're gonna have to go full size. It's better, but it's not fantastic. I still feel a little cramped in here, and obviously the seat is very straight up. Now, the backs of the seats, you could easily put, I would say, about 14 churros. And believe it or not, there's a place not too far from where we're located that makes these amazing churros. Special to North Carolina. They use a little bit extra nutmeg and cinnamon. Get about 14 of those, stand them up in there. I love a good churro. I don't know about you. 2 cup holders, 2 AC vents, and then you do have a USB-C and a USB-A. The problem is I want some heated seats back here. It's a little chilly today. I want some heated seats, but you do have a home power source all the way down there. Just to prove it, I'll make it disappear. I got my own freaking space here for my own churros. And then everybody's getting extra 5 horsepower with the red seat belts. And nice soft armrest with the 2 cup holders. Love the design. If you're ready, I'm ready though. It's that time. We're going freaking off-roading in this AT4X. All right, guys, we are at the trailhead. I have it in 4 high and we are in off-road mode. You can see the forward-facing camera on that 11.3-inch infotainment system screen. And this is where we're going towards the heavier off-roading terrain to really test what this AT4X is all about. Just a quick recap. Remember, we have 3 inches of ground clearance, 3-inch lift, over 10 inches of ground clearance, and those off-road Goodyear Wrangler tires. One of the things they do very well over at GMC is the steering. Easy effort, very communicative, and having the high resolution screens just make this whole thing that much more enjoyable. Now remember, we have 10 cameras, including the 2 underneath the truck. And what I like is how you're able to switch through the different modes very easily. And even though we have that brush bar, they angled the camera very nicely to where you get a clear view. To get to underneath the vehicle, there it is underneath the truck, the camera views. And remember, you do have washers, so you could clean that at any given moment. But really, really nice and communicative with this whole Multimatic suspension system. the 4x4 mechanical grip that we're getting, and the tires. I mean, it really is the full package of what this truck is capable of. I think what I really like about the Canyon is, first of all, the size. Because we're talking mid-size truck and we are on this tighter trail road, it really allows you to be confident that you're not gonna, brush a tree or hit the side wall of this mountain here that we're on. And then just having that nice smooth throttle response from the 2.7 liter turbocharged inline four. I mean, like I said, we're talking about 430 pound-feet of torque, which is class leading. Plus, that's gonna help us not only on this off-road trail section, but definitely when we start to do a little rock crawling. It's really cool to be out here in North Carolina on this freaking trail road. And like I said, just how they fine-tuned each part of what this Canyon AT4X is bringing. And remember, this is the first time that there's been an AT4X for the Canyon. It first appeared on the Sierra full-size truck, but really makes child's play out of what you're doing because of how each input is so precise. Throttle, brakes, steering, suspension. It just shows what the Canyon is bringing at the AT4X trim. And yes, there is that higher cost, but remember, these components really do the business at the end of the day, and that's what you're paying for. So we're going over this really ripped up section, and I'm telling you, it's very fascinating just how well the Multimatic system suspension just absorbs everything and allows you to feel nice and planted. And remember, there's other suspension systems out there where they're using live valve technology and all this other stuff, but this is a setup on a suspension where you're not getting this active adaptive tuning. It's happening automatically in its own setup. You don't have to worry about different modes you're in or any of that stuff. It's just making way for you to be able to stay planted and feel comfortable, feel confident, and that's what the suspension of this truck is really all about, the suspension, and that's what you're paying for. And this is where you get to reap those rewards. Seats feel great, nice and comfortable, also supportive. But the thing that I love about this Canyon is that no matter if you're on-road or off-road, it doesn't feel squishy. It's not like an off-road truck where you're bouncing around and just swaying all over the place. It's very, very composed, and I guess the big word that I keep saying is planted. It just feels planted. Here's where we're gonna get a little muddy. There we go. You can't have a clean truck. That's just the rule of the game here, is you just cannot have a clean truck. And that is one thing we definitely just took care of there. But remember, if you're scared about those cameras being covered with mud, don't be, because we have the washers. But it's just incredible how easy it is to drive this truck on this tight trail road. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and put this into Baja mode. That is one of the things that this truck has over your standard AT4, is that Baja mode. So here we go, switching to Baja, hitting the OK button, and we are ready to rock and roll. And what each of these modes do is allow you, and I'm bringing up the cameras here, allow you to have that different personality for how the engine and the transmission and the steering behave. And it's nice that they've considered bringing a Baja mode over to the AT4X, since, like I said, none of the other Canyons have that availability. But still, the same story that you're gonna find is just how nice and composed this truck is and how much fun it is to drive. I mean, I'm just having a freaking blast. As much as I love rock crawling, I love these back trail roads and just having a good time letting her rip. I think one thing we definitely need to do once we get a little bit of straight road here, and you know where I'm going with this, right? We got to do it. On throttle, here we go. Drops down and we are off and running. It's just one of those things that, like I said, with 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque, it makes on throttle a lot more fun, that's for sure. And this Baja mode is just another way for you to take advantage of all of the engineering and technology behind what this truck has to offer. All right, guys, here's where it gets a little tighter and definitely a little muddier. Into the mud hole. Yeah. And that's what's great about this truck, is that we're back in off-road mode. And what you do is you just let the truck guide the way and take advantage of just how much suspension travel there is and that fortified underbelly with the skid plates. I mean, look at this. We are in between these trees and I feel good. I feel comfortable. I feel confident. So as you can see, guys, I mean, this is some pretty torn up terrain and we are in a tight spot, and I'm using my cameras. Right now I can't see over the hood, but I'm using my cameras, and this is where cameras are so crucial. If your truck is new and it doesn't have all these cameras, you need to bring it back. You need to bring it back and get a refund, because cameras make all the difference. One of the zonks that I do have is I wish the forward-facing camera had a washer. I'm very confused why they didn't put a washer on this, but here's another perfect example. So I can't see what's in front of me, but down in the camera, boom. Look at that. Piece of cake. And then, of course, we could even go underneath the truck. I'm going to go ahead and wash this off a little bit. Underneath the truck. Look at that. Now we're talking. And you can see the resolution of the camera quality is just absolutely amazing. I mean, look at that. Now I need to get out of this because it's just getting muddier and muddier. But there's my different angles out the front. The trajectory lines are a nice welcome addition. And it's just amazing the suspension travel that you get. Boom, look at that, yeah. This is on throttle in a very different kind of way than what we're here on Rady's Rides used to. All right, guys, it's been a wild and crazy day out here in Asheville, North Carolina. I definitely want to thank the whole GMC team for inviting us for the launch of this totally redesigned Canyon. Let me know what you think. Has GMC done enough? If you want to go to the extremes, if you want to drive in that river behind us and make it to the other end, have they delivered on making that mid-size truck that's capable to get through just about anything? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up to the guy that's making it happen with the camera. He's got muscles. He's been working out. He's getting stronger every day, both physically and mentally and spiritually. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. Show him some love in the comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.